Hello world and welcome to the next video. Now I want to talk about some of the issues with former Vice President Joe Biden as a candidate and some issues with the Democratic Party. Now, I wish I didn't have to share this. I wish that politics and this election were simple, cut and dry, easy to make the right decision, okay? But the truth is, even though President Trump, I believe, is egregiously bad for the country, Joe Biden has a lot of flaws, so does the Democratic Party. So let's go into those because they're not often discussed on left-wing mainstream media. And for journalistic integrity, we should discuss them. It's very important that we cover all of the perspectives and don't ignore certain parts of the news. You shouldn't just leave things out because they are bad or because you don't want to talk about them. You should always dig into the story. So part of this problem in US politics, let me just say real quick, as I've said before, we have two wings of a corporate party, the far-right Republican Party and the mid-right Democratic Party, and they're both engaging in corruption of varying degrees. So let's dig into the character flaws of Joe Biden. Now, one policy issue is he wrote the crime bill long ago and sponsored it, sent it through, which basically incarcerates predominantly black men for small-time drug offenses and other things. So really bad for race issues. But for character issues, let's dig into those. So at one point, he made a troubling comment about President Barack Obama and said, "This is the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice-looking guy." Obviously, this sounds racist. He has another quote where he says, "Poor kids are just as good and smart as white kids." It doesn't sound good, assuming that the poor kids are the black kids. Doesn't sound good at all. Very bad. And if he truly means that, that's definitely racist. He has a quote, if you don't know if you're for me or for Trump, then you ain't black." And this is a recent quote in an interview where he was brushing off race issues. And it's not a good approach, especially if you care about race issues. There are plenty of disturbing photos of Joe Biden with children. I wish they didn't exist, but they do. He's being too close, too handsy. Sometimes looks like he's sniffing their hair, for example. It's just disturbing. I hope those cases don't go beyond the photos because they're very disturbing. He does have a credible sexual assault claim of a Senate aide, Reid, from many years ago, where she claims sexual assault. And it's hard to verify all the details, but in general, we can assume that it could be credible since we cannot disprove it either. Now, Tara Reid actually agrees with Joe Biden's politics, while at the same time wanting to tell her story and speak out in favor of women. So she's quoted as saying, "Many things are true at once. She was very conflicted about how I felt about Joe Biden." Why? Because she wants to tell her story, but also she leans left and wants to vote for Democrats in general or other left politicians. Joe Biden also possibly politicized the death of his first wife because he claimed that the truck driver who hit her was a drunk driver, when in fact his wife swerved in front of the truck. Also, as you know, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, has a high-paying seat on a Ukrainian gas company's board. And based on the evidence we have, Hunter Biden didn't contribute much at all to that company's board. He has no knowledge of that area or no experience. So it looks like just corruption. He gets paid to be on a board, and then they expect favors in return. Now, almost all of these types of criticisms or accusations, they can also be attributed to Trump if you change the details. So like I said, it's unfortunate we have two candidates that have a lot of issues and are corrupt, but it's important to go through the details of Joe Biden's specific issues. Certainly things such as the nepotism, the sexual assault claims, some of the racism, some of the integrity issues, they can all be attributed to President Trump as well. So it's on both sides pretty clearly. Thank you for listening to this video. If you like the coverage, please do like the video, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.